Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Learning Curves. I am sitting here today on beautiful, sunny Fort Myers Beach. I'm actually sitting here on my husband's property in Times Square, where he used to have a building. The building was called, there was a business in here called the Sandal Factory in Loyola. They were actually sitting here at their restaurant now, was also here. At this point, there is no building left. There is actually nothing left on Times Square. Everything is gone. The building's behind me, the restaurant's behind me, the businesses over here on this side, everything gone. The only thing remaining from Times Square is the elevator shaft of my husband's family's business. Their father built a business here, and it's been a family-owned business for years. And they have such love for the beach, his family, and they wanted to do something to just give back to the community. We noticed when we came down here several times. My husband's here every single week, and I've been down here a few times with him. But every time we come down here on the weekends, this is a place to gather right in front of the elevator shaft. It was the one thing that when you watch the news, they always showed the elevator shaft in the news. It was everywhere. It was famous, that famous elevator shaft of Times Square. That was kind of everywhere. So he just thought, Chris and his family thought it would be a really great idea to preserve it instead of knocking it down, which they could have done. But instead, they spent their own money to preserve the stuff, make it safe. So they hired a contractor to come out and work on it and repaint it. And then they wanted to hire some muralists to come and paint some murals on here to give a sign of hope and happiness for everybody that comes down here. Because like I said, there's music playing on the weekends. People bring their lawn chairs. They gather. There's crosses. There's flags. There's items that they found during the hurricane that's been displayed down here. Just so much happens in Times Square in remembrance, because this was basically where we're sitting right now was ground zero, if you want to say that, of where the hurricane hit. This is where the biggest impact was, pretty much right here where we're sitting, is where that happened. So I am sitting here today with the two muralists that are going to be working on the project and painting some beautiful artwork with Summer and Lacey, and they are going to be painting murals, and we're going to talk to them today about how they got started, their experience with the hurricane, and their love for Fort Myers Beach. Okay, so I'm sitting here today with the two muralists that will be painting lovely murals on this beautiful elevator shaft that's been recently renovated. And we're going to talk to them and learn more about them, what they do, and also talk to them about their experience during the hurricane, and just learn about their love for Fort Myers Beach and why they're doing this. I first want to start. This is Lacey. Hi, Lacey. How are you doing?
Nice. Doing great. Happy to be here.
And I am here with Summer.
And as I am great to be here. Not great to be here.
We are
I'm
hot.
great and happy to be here as well. Yes, very hot.
Yeah, we're kind of dripping in sweat right now, so it is like 100 degrees out, but we're doing this. So let's start with Lacey. Why don't you tell me a little bit of your story of how did you become a muralist and what made you want to be part of this project?
Yeah. So I've been an artist honestly since I was a child, but on Fort Myers Beach here, and then also on Sanibel Island, and part of why I like doing projects is giving back to the community, and also providing beautiful things to look at that are fun, whimsical, create happiness. And so I've been an artist out on Sanibel and Fort Myers Beach for 15 years, and this area is dear to my heart. And not only have I lived out on Fort Myers Beach, but I've also lived on Sanibel. And during the storm, I know a lot of my friends, and also I personally lost my home and my art studio that was at the foot of Fort Myers Beach Bridge. And there's so much history here on the beach, and so much love here on the beach, and resilience, that I think these folks have, Fort Myers Beach locals. And, what I have seen just by driving over here is like the amount of resilience and love that even though everything was knocked down, they're still managing to have businesses, managing to have fun, trying to find positive in this really destructive situation. And so I think part of this project, and one of the main reasons I wanted to be involved, is because this stands here, and it's literally opposite from the lighthouse, which is near where I lived, and kind of catty corner to where my studio was. But I think that it'll be a nice beacon of hope for people and comfort, when they come down to this area. And I think bringing color and joy, I think we could all use a little bit of that right now. So I draw a lot of inspiration from those things right now, and just in my personal healing after all of this. So.
Yeah, something that when people drive down when they're going over the bridge, coming over here to the beach, they can see the beautiful mural, and it will make them smile.
Yeah.
And when they gather around it,
Yeah.
too, at night to listen to music, it will make them smile. So, Summer, how about you?
Well, I agree with everything that you said. I grew up in Bonita Springs, so Fort Myers Beach is obviously very, very important to me and very special. So special, I actually named my business after it back when I was in high school. So. It's not here anymore,
What was your
unfortunately.
business name?
It's called Summit Days. So I used to hang out at a house right down here all through high school with all my friends, and then it got renamed, it got turned into a cottage and renamed Summer Days. So I was like, if I ever have a business one day, that's what I'm going to name it, and I certainly did. So, yes, this whole area is very dear to me. So that's why I am actually honored to be able to be a part of the new murals that are going to be here. So, because I want to be able to bring back the nostalgia that, I grew up with here, and I want to bring back the uniqueness. It's so nice to be working with original owners and businesses here, to keep the kind of the corporateness out of it and just keep it, the old Fort Myers Beach that we know. And I think it would be a great addition to this area, considering how many people come here right now to, reminisce on the area and the people who lived here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, Summer, you work quite a bit with murals, and you get commissioned. You travel all over the United States to do murals. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, mainly Florida. I travel all around Florida. I started my business painting murals 3.5 years ago. I've been painting my whole life, but I've been doing it professionally for 3.5 years. So
Right.
yes, I travel a lot, and it's so cool that I can stay in Fort Myers for this one. But yeah, that's what I do for a living. I absolutely love it. I'm able to spread my love and art everywhere. So.
What's your favorite
love
mural
it.
that you've done so far?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. There's so many. I do so many, nautical things. Obviously, that's what everyone loves here. So a lot of octopus, a lot of sea turtles, a lot of oceans. So, I love doing that because I love using color. And that's right. I can put so much color into that. So.
You absolutely can. And what about you, Lacey? What's your favorite mural that you've done so far?
Well,
worked on?
probably one of the most recognized murals, at least on Sanibel, was at the Mad Hatter restaurant, which got wiped out in the hurricane. But the other one was at Seaside Bar and Grill over in Bonita Springs, the big wave and kind of cityscape and graffiti type upstairs. I worked with another artist to do the graffiti part of it, but we had a fun project with that. And I just love painting wildlife. I love being inspired by scenery that's around here. I love working on large formats. So, I think I'm probably known for my wildlife paintings around the island. But personally, I like doing a lot of pop art and a lot of, abstracts.
Okay.
And typically I paint a lot with my hands
hope so.
on this project. Well, literally with my hands and not adult
like,
finger
wow.
painter. No,
Amazing.
my toes, But no, I absolutely love what I do, and I'm very fortunate to be able to paint for a living. So that
That's
is my
great.
main profession.
Do you have a temporary studio right now since you lost your studio?
I do. I'm working in a temporary space. It's out of a garage space, but I'm in talks with a couple different spots that I may be moving into, hopefully sooner than later. But for right now, I'm very grateful to have a roof over my head to live in, and also to create in. So
That's great.
I'm very fortunate, and it all kind of happened. All the dots connected, and I ended up in a really cool little space that has nature all around me.
Yeah, so you've been without a home for a while.
Yes, since the hurricane. So, but things are coming together, and literally out of my back window there was an eagle's nest that got knocked down, and so I was able to watch these eagles rebuild their nest and have babies after the hurricane, and that was such a source of inspiration for me. I actually did a pure picture with my eagle that I sketched with a heart over, and it was symbolizing, the resilience and rebuilding Fort Myers Beach, and how big the folks of Fort Myers Beach, how big their hearts are. And I love how crunchy is the wrong word, but I love how salty and how like organic Fort Myers Beach is. And I was dear friends with Bill Simmer. I was dear friends with AJ Bassett, and those folks have been out on this island, for 60, 70 years, 80 years, even AJ. And so to hear the history of the beach and to keep some of that old Florida, something that's, like she said, nostalgic, something that is reminiscent of really amazing memories that we all have here, since the scape is changing somewhat, and it just by nature has.
Yes.
I think it's super cool. So I'm excited about the whole project, honestly. And I'm excited to work with you.
Yes, as am I.
So,
Yeah, so these two, they love Fort Myers Beach so much that they offered to paint these murals on their own time. And there's a lot of costs that go into that. You have to buy art supplies and paint and all kinds of things that is needed to actually paint a mural. So what we're trying to do is, Chris and I are looking to raise money for them so they can get money for all their supplies in order to paint these beautiful murals. So we're hoping that you'll all donate to our cause and be able to come down here when you drive over the bridge and be able to look at this beautiful elevator shaft and know that you were able to give the people of Fort Myers Beach something very special and something that they can be happy about. So I've heard so many stories of devastation and loss of just from all different people that live down here. Do you want to share a story with us, Summer?
I didn't have I did not lose my home physically. I did have to move. I've been rehomed twice now since the hurricane, and due to the hurricane. I mean, that's the main reason for it. I wasn't impacted like the people on the island, thank goodness. I mean, I can't even begin to imagine the extent of stress and heartbreak that is, because it did break my heart, crucially, to hear all that. Which is why I tried to help out as much as I could after the hurricane, even in the process of moving. So that was difficult, but I mean, I'm still trying like everything to try and get people back and giving people really good deals on murals or coming just to help them clean up stuff. I think it's impacted everybody, whether you were hit directly or not. I know you had way more of an impact.
but you did your T-shirts. You told me that was really cool.
I did do Florida and Fort Myers Strong T-shirts.
Nice.
I designed them. I think it was 2 days after the hurricane, because I was like, there's got to be some way, because it was devastating to see this on the news. I'm like, there's no way we're going to come back from this anytime soon. So I wanted to try and just kind of put my impact in it immediately. So I made T-shirts. I sold up to $10,000 worth, I believe. So that was given to people that helped me donate them. It was given to places like Doc's Beach House, Yo Taco, a couple others, and then some families. So I donated all the money from all the T-shirts after the hurricane, and now I get to do more, which is great for me. I love it. I actually really do love it. And I've been such a part of the Fort Myers Beach community prior, but now this just gives me more incentive to be here and just to help in every way possible, because I mean, wasn't sure how this place could become any more better than what it was before. I mean, the Silver Witch is gone. I don't know how people get over that, but we're gonna make sure that it comes back even better. I'm gonna make sure
That's
of this.
right.
I will.
like it.
Me alone.
Well, we appreciate you, Summer, and we thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
everything that you're getting ready to do. We're really excited to see
I'm
your
excited.
work.
I'm excited.
Can't tell what it is,
Can't wait
but
to share it.
it's going to be pretty,
know.
really awesome.
Yes.
So, what about you, Lacey? Do you have a story to share with us? I know
yeah,
you had a
I mean-
lot that happened to you during the
Yeah,
hurricane.
and I think it's important to say, like, no matter, I was saying this to you earlier,
Yeah,
like, no
you
matter
were.
what scale of loss everyone had, whether it's coming down here to Times Square or Fort Myers Beach and seeing it, or literally living through it, or losing your home. I have a lot of friends and family who have lost their homes out here on Fort Myers Beach, and so, I think it's one of those questions. It's like, well, what did you go through? We've all been through a lot, and Sanibel's been through a lot, and so. I was here during the hurricane on West Gulf Drive. The house that I was in literally blew apart. We were very fortunate to make it out. We were airlifted out by a Chinook helicopter.
You were airlifted out, wow.
with 9 dogs and 5 people. We were actually one of the fortunate ones that they could actually get to. And then they kind of just drop you off, and you have your cell phone. You're like, now what do I do? And so I was downtown Fort Myers, and I bumped into a film crew. I was actually trying to charge my phone and ended up talking to them. And I said, you couldn't get an Uber ride. I wanted to get a ride down to my studio on Fort Myers Beach, and they said, we want to interview you. I talked to them a little bit. I said, not unless you'll give me a ride down to Fort Myers Beach. And so they ended up doing a special on the studio, and then also my house. They actually took a boat out to my house, my little cottage on the east end by the lighthouse. And she fared pretty well, but still, my landlord decided to sell and not renovate. So my landlord decided that he was going to sell, which I think is happening a lot to people, or they're just having to be rehomed or moved. But like I said, I'm grateful. The man that was doing the reconstruction immediately after the hurricane, where I was camping out in the home that I wrote out the storm in for 5 days, I said to him, do you have anywhere that possibly I could rent? And he goes, I may have something in mind. And so lo and behold, they had this property. It's not ideal, there's no kitchen, but I have made a kitchen and made a studio and made it really cute, and I'm very grateful to have a roof over my head and a beautiful little space, at least for this next year, to create and also to live in. But it's been encouraging to watch everyone and how they process, and I think it's important to also say yes, there's all this positive energy, and yes, keep moving forward. But I think it's very important for people to remember that everyone is going through this process, and there are down days, there are low days, and to just check on everyone and go, you doing okay? And everyone's okay may look different,
Yeah, depends on the day and the time.
And this is going to pass. This will pass. And the cool thing about this is, this project, I think every time you come down to Times Square or to the pier, it'll be a place you can, look, and it'll be pretty and happy. Take a picture, share it, and just know that, the two people's hearts that are creating it are really into it, and
Yes.
Fort Myers Beach means so much to us.
Yes.
So,
much.
yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of, iconic icons from
Yeah.
the old Fort Myers Beach, and
Yeah,
it's going to be great.
I think so.
It is going to be great. It is going to be great. I just have to tell you, we so appreciate both of you so much. Thank you for everything that
Absolutely.
you're going to do.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, we just, I
And-
appreciate you.
area.
So if somebody would like to commission you to paint a mural or painting, Summer, how can they find you?
Well, I'm all over the place, but probably through my website or Instagram, which both of them is SUMMA, Summa Days, DAZE art.com. SummaDaysArt.com. After the cottage.
Okay. And how about you, Lacey?
And my website is Lacy, LACY, S4E6CCLARY.com. And on social media, on Instagram and Facebook, it's Lacey McClary Studio. And I'd love a follow. And if not, just to enjoy the work. And if you do have projects in mind, I'm happy to do them. So no project's too big. And I do take a lot of commission work. And I love working with clients, creating what they envision, you know. And some artists won't take commissions. So it's kind of fun to work with, like we're doing with you guys, collaborating. And it's fun. So.
Great. Well, thank you so much. And we'll make sure that we put all your information in the show notes for the podcast so everybody can find you. And also, we are going to have the GoFundMe link on the show notes as well. So if you would love to donate to this wonderful project here on Fort Myers Beach, there's a link there where you can donate, and we would really appreciate that. Okay, so now I thought we would have my husband Chris, who was the brainchild behind all this, to come in and say a few words. Hey Chris, why don't you come on up here and talk to my Learning Curves audience.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I've been dying to get on your show.
Yeah, so we heard from the ladies and all about their excitement to work on this project and their passion for Fort Myers Beach. And so do you want to talk to us a little bit about why you decided to, I mean, I told them why, but it'd be good to hear your why as well.
Well, you know, every time I would come over the bridge, there would be a certain amount of energy that would be just, you come down with all the energy of doing something good and getting something accomplished, and then you would see all the debris and destruction, and it would really be demotivating. And, you know, for 9-10 months, we looked at this building as just being shredded, and, you know, rebar sticking out of it, electrical wire sticking out of it. I just couldn't stand it anymore, you know. So I wanted to at least clean it up, paint it, do something. And then, you know, I was talking to some friends about my frustration with it, and they said, well, why don't you clean it up and put some murals on it? So I'd like to think that it was my idea. But it wasn't totally my idea. I just voiced my frustration with friends, and the suggestions came on how to solve the problem, how to fix it, and that's kind of how it started. And here we are today. The building is 90% restored, and we have two local artists that are dying to paint on it. They're thrilled and honored, apparently. I mean, and I couldn't be happier with this whole situation.
Well, that's great. I think it's a great thing, all three of you, what you're doing for your community, because I know how much you care about it.
We do. I mean, this is the last structure that exists from our estate that is left standing. Everything else is gone from our legacy. And my folks have been down here for over 40 years and kind of grew up down here, and they had a business here. And so, yeah, it's real important to me to see that we honor that and to clean it up. And, you know, I know it's important to my other family members as well. And we do care about the legacy. And my father and my mother were great people down here, and they were well known in the community. And, you know, obviously a long time has passed. A lot of new people don't know about them, but a lot of old timers will talk about them.
And when did your parents first start a business here on Fort Myers Beach?
83, I think.
And wasn't it like out of an old gas station or something like that?
Yes, it was a gas station at one point, and I remember them putting in so I think it was a Phillips 76 or something. Well, when they opened up the surf shop, they put an OP globe into the sign where the Phillips 76 sign used to be. And so it's quite interesting how it worked out. But, it was, the place where you had to go back then. Everyone had to have a West Coast Surf Shop shirt. You had to have an OP shirt. And, God, I'm popular today. And, it was just the place, to come and get, and it kind of meant you were a part of this local club, being the surfer and whatever. Even though there was no waves, we still thought we could surf. So
I hear back in the day they used to, AJ Bassett, she told me they surfed, they would pull you behind, when you could drive on the beach, they would pull you on behind a Jeep with skis on in the water and ski. And, that was one way to have fun out here. So that was one way to catch waves way back in the day.
we used to use the hood and tie that rope to that. We weren't that sophisticated. So God only knows the stuff we did back then, but we're still alive. We drank out of the hoses. We didn't wear helmets, all that stuff, and we're still alive, sort of.
Well, thanks for coming on and telling us about your vision. And you have anything else you want to say?
Well, the vision really is to create a positive message about the rebirth. And to me, to create some energy to let people know it's just time. For me, phase one is over. We've come up out of the ground, and we've got our tenant Laola here who's back. We've got another tenant up front, and our other two tenants. I mean, immediately after the storm, we had all 4 tenants back up and running, except for the sandal factory, and it was great. But now we have to go to phase 2, where we start thinking about the future. And I don't know when we'll be able to put a shovel in the ground, but it might be long enough to where we can clean this up for now and get ready for the future.
I think that's what it's time for.
It is.
Getting ready for the future. Thanks, Chris, for stopping by. Appreciate you and everything that you're doing.
And thank you.
And thank you all for tuning in today to Learning Curves. I hope you really enjoyed this very special episode. See you next time. And also, don't forget to subscribe. At CEA Marketing, we take your business, your passion, and your why, and we sell it. If you're unsure where to start marketing your company, CEA Marketing is here to help. Our team at CEA has tons of experience and top-notch training, which helps you take all the stress and confusion out of marketing your own business. After years of working with large companies like Pulte Homes and Metro Places, we guarantee the successful implementation of a marketing strategy.